Morning, everybody. How we doing?
Morning. We're,
Morning.
we're morning. We're morning. We don't normally do morning.
This is awfully early due to the demands of our guest this time. He's
Right next to the,
yeah.
the bowl of blue M&Ms.
Rodney, you said you wished everybody did early morning interviews, and I figured
I
you've been to the gym. I figured you've been to the gym already and worked out, and
Well, it's Wednesday.
now you're just on to number two.
yeah, Gabe's got it. I workout's done, showered earlier than usual this morning. Usually I come home and just tear through the house, and take a shower later. My wife was nervous about doing it at this time because I'm known in this house at 6 a.m. for being just a total monster of like not in a bad mood, just like energy. So essentially pre-workout is fully kicked in. Got adrenaline going from my workout, and then knock that down with a cup of coffee or two. So yeah, we'll be in prime shape this morning.
Rodney, you and I have different cup sizes. I went with this, which is about the size of my head. Uh,
Well, I prepared for this one, so I have two ready to
ah,
go. Yeah, so it's equivalent.
What's
uh,
in the second one?
ah,
Yeah,
ah.
still coffee. Actually, that's the Christmas gift I didn't know I needed. That's a heated coffee mug. Have you ever seen these? So the girls got it
Yeah.
for me for Christmas, and man, it's awesome. Like my last sip of coffee out of the cup could almost burn your mouth. It's great.
Really?
Highly recommend it.
Yeah, and I go opposite. Like the reason I have this mug, and I don't know if you hear it. There's
Uh-huh.
ice in there.
Mm,
So it's
iced
like
coffee.
single digits here this morning, but I'm iced coffee year round.
That's crazy. So this is like regular drip coffee in ice ish.
No, it's
Okay.
so, man, I've done so many different versions of it, but it's cold brew. What we get
Okay.
now are these little frozen concentrates of coffee.
Mm.
They take up way less space, and so then you stick them in the fridge the night before, and so they're ready to go. And so dump two or three of those in, fill with water and ice, good to go. Um,
Mm.
Yeah, I used to brew my own for a long time. When I was working from home really consistently, I would do that. Um, but it's the kind of thing where you don't want to let it sit around too long, and so like there are times when I'll go in, it just doesn't work. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
but I learned. I feel like I probably said this, but in New England is the only area in the U.S. where iced coffee consumption doesn't drop during the winter. Uh, I learned that from a food service guy.
That's
So,
hilarious. Just
yeah.
give
So
me
we,
more cold.
yeah,
Yeah.
I guess. It's not, yeah, it's not that cold. Ryan, where are you out of? You're out of Illinois?
Illinois, Route 80 and 39 corridor, LaSalle County, Ottawa,
Yeah.
Illinois. Yeah. Yeah. It is, it's cold here. Rodney, you're Dwight,
Yep.
and then Gabe, is it Boston?
Just outside of Boston, yeah. It's a
Outside of Boston.
town called Arlington. We're about
But
40,000 people. Yeah.
Gabe's a Manuka boy, Ryan.
I am from
Manuka?
Minooka.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You went to high school in
Okay.
Manuka.
I think
Yeah.
I remember that on an earlier podcast, here in the background, but
Comes up every once in a while.
I
Yeah.
imagine
yeah.
there's like a trophy. Is there like a statue of you or anything at the Manuka High School, Gabe, if I
There's
walked in?
there used to be a small shrine in the high school, but
It just,
I, I think it
after a while.
blew to
Yeah,
dust. Yeah.
yeah.
No.
Have you been back to Manuka lately, Gabe?
Lately, probably not in the last 3 years. So my parents live in Plainfield.
Okay.
Like literally, it's a you go about 2 miles from where they live, and that's when you start to get to the cornfields. And so there's a pretty straight way back to that. It's a nat gas power plant back there.
Hmm.
Okay. Grew
Um,
up on a farm in Plainfield?
Me? No, I so I lived in Chicago until I was 12. My dad is now a retired Methodist minister, and so I get moved around from time to time.
Oh yeah.
And so his appointment after that was Shanahan, Illinois,
Okay.
which Manuka is adjacent to. And there weren't enough kids across just Shanahan or Manuka or I think Shorewood too to have their own high school. So we had,
Nah, that's crazy. That's crazy now. It's gigantic out
yeah,
there.
yeah. I mean, I know they have two high schools there, like just in Manuka, and yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen like I know they've added. There's like a big DC there. distribution center. It looks like. Um, I mean, when I was there, it was the classic. I think it was a. I can't remember if it was a stoplight. I think it was a stoplight. Kind of the right when you're coming off of 80 and you head south into town. There was a stoplight, but that was it. Like
Yeah.
everything else was stop signs or nothing.
Probably put in by that gas station, right? Isn't there like a gigantic
There was
Love's or TA
well,
there?
so yeah, it's the stoplight you'd hit a little bit further south. So it was before that. So that wasn't
Got
there.
it. Got
So
it.
I mean, the big news when I was in high school was when the Wendy's changed over. Or, yeah, I think it was a. I don't know what it was. It might have been like a Dairy Queen changed over to a Wendy's. So it was one of those where like you come up to it and it looks like a Dairy Queen, but it's a
Yeah.
Wendy's.
Oh yeah.
But I
That's
remember people
awesome.
talking about they gave out one raise. I don't know if it was like every month or quarter or 6 months or something. And so the high schoolers were like, "Oh, who got the 10 cent raise?" Because somebody would get a 10 cent raise. Everybody else is getting a nickel kind of thing. I'm looking
Nice.
real old right now.
What was
I
minimum wage when you were there, Gabe?
I was 375.
Ah, really? So I remember 275.
I don't remember 275. Were you a server? Did you work in a restaurant?
No, no, this is Dairy Queen, actually. Dairy Queen boy here.
I think they just lied to you.
It might have been, oh, I know it said 275, but it might have been like when I started, it had just switched to 325. I think
Maybe
it
it
went
was
up pretty quick
325.
after
Maybe it
that.
was
Yeah.
325.
Yeah.
I worked at a gas station in Shorewood, and so I was actually just home at my parents' not this past weekend, but 2 weekends ago. Um, and we drove by. I worked at a gas station for 3 years. All every Sunday, I was working at the gas
Hmm.
station. Never saw a Super Bowl while I was in high school because I was working. That was funny. We did not stop in. But that I worked mostly there. Yeah, a couple odd
So
jobs.
gas station would be, I think, an interesting job. Less interesting today, I would think, because I just assumed everybody pays at the pump and nobody goes inside. And we have this like local gas station here that I go to every other day and never go inside. And one day one of my girls' friends was working in there, and I forget why, but I went in and I was like, "Do you get freaked out when people walk in to pay for gas?" And she's like, "No, man, people do it all the time." I was like, "I would have thought everybody paid at the pump." She's like, "No, people come in to talk. They want to talk. I must talk enough throughout the day. I don't need to talk to my gas station person."
People want to talk. That was not. Oh, man, I got. I don't know what the word is. Whatever. So one time I'm, working the register. Guy comes in, asks for change for a 20 or something, and there's some sort of hustle where you ask for change in different ways. Basically, you
Mm.
end up with more money than you had going in. That dude took me for like I got to the end of the night, counted my drawer. I think I was at like 150, 200 bucks. I was like, what the hell? Like, and I didn't even remember that guy had come in. I was like, oh, you know, and being a minimum wage job with a lot of cash, like there's cameras everywhere, and so they
Sure.
went back and they go, oh yeah, that guy like did that. Man, I felt like just a giant moron. So I felt like just such an idiot.
And
Um,
then went on to graduate from Harvard. Like
yeah,
that's a
turns
few
out
minutes.
you
They
can
can
be
make a
real
movie out of
dumb.
that.
You can be real dumb and graduate.
I can
Rounders.
just imagine the story arc out of that. Like it starts off Gabe getting hosed out of 200 bucks. Next thing you know, he's in charge of cargo risk management or some stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So,
I got a little bit.
Ryan Leifheit, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for coming on. I was kidding about the demands, but I will say, we've been talking about getting Ryan on here for months. He is the best crop insurance agent that I've ever worked with. Me and Ryan have been sharing kind of customer interest for 20 years now, so knowing each other a long time. But I thought it was funny. I was like, hey, I want to get you on, but I want to wait until crop insurance is more relevant, more front of people's mind or whatever. We talked about doing it this October, but yields were gigantic, so there wasn't anything to talk about. So anyway, I just called him a couple weeks ago. I was like, "Hey, when can you get on?" And he's like, "Man, I mean, it's crop insurance season, so it's gonna have to be outside of 8 a.m. to 5 a.m." And I'm like, oh, that's fine. I mean, you don't think there's any time between now and, whenever. And he's like, no, man, it's crop insurance season. This is what I do. So Ryan, thank you for taking the time out of your Super Bowl. I know you crop insurance guys only work two months out of the year, so
Yeah,
it's tough to get you on
yeah,
here this time of year.
yeah. No, I appreciate being on and love listening to the podcast you guys do. So this is great.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, Ryan is a listener. He calls to tell me when I say something wrong regarding crop insurance and gives us feedback. So appreciate
I
that.
think I have referenced the show twice. There was a crop insurance conversation you guys had on a podcast, and it was a put versus a call conversation. And then the other one jumped out at me was the LED lightning bug conversation that I think I heard. I was listening early in the morning, and I'm like, what was he just talking about? And
It's an appropriate
so I
reaction.
had yeah, I had to text and I'm Googling and finding out, I wrote a thesis on my beliefs and disbeliefs on LED lightning bug technology and look forward to discussing that with you guys.
Hey, this is going to be like one of those Mandela effects where when I bring it to your attention in July, you're going to be like, I can't believe I never noticed this before. I'm sure
Yeah.
that's going to be the case.
Now I haven't heard any of my customers reference the LED lightning bug, so I'm hoping some of your listenership, I don't know how broad your guys' listenership is, but maybe somebody will, the secret password is LED lightning bug,
LED
and I'll know they're a listener. So.
Somebody will lean up to you in the grocery store and they'll just whisper in
Yeah.
your ear, LED
I gotta get
lightning.
that. I gotta get that website locked down for sure. That's going to be big.
Wait, Ronnie, can you just duck out of the camera view for a second? I just want people to see.
Oh, that makes me nervous. Yeah.
Well, no, all the way. You're still in the way.
Oh, out? Like completely out?
Look at this. All right. So if you can't see what's going on right now, Rodney has moved where he records, and it looks like he's set up for a president's fireside chat. He's gonna open a book and read us a story. Like I don't know what's going on, but it is. I mean it is a classic tableau you've got going there,
Why
which I
don't you
didn't
have a
see when
fire?
you moved.
Why don't you have a fire going this morning, Rodney?
Well, so good question. This room is really small, and I shut the door because the rest of my family's asleep. And if I turn that fireplace on, it turns into a sauna here in 5 seconds. So normally during the day, especially like when it's this cold, I have it on. But boy, if that door's shut, no chance. Gabe, I'm glad you noticed, man. Yeah, I'm in the middle of a remodel to my office here, trying to make it a big boy office. Is what I call it. So my sister, Jen, she's a big listener, although I don't think she has any idea what we talk about, but she listens every week. She's helping me out, so expect more changes.
Man, I'm not going to show you the rest of my office. It is not. It's not great. I mean, I talked about the mattress going on fire, right? Like starting to
No,
smoke and all that. I
no,
have not talked about this.
no.
Oh man! So this happened. It's because it happened over the holidays. Oh, this is great. So, I mean, it's fine now. So uh, it's middle of the day on like a Saturday or something, and it's not super cold yet. But so my older kid Ellie, they're like, "Hey, I think I smell something like gas, something in the house, right?" I'm like, "Okay." But I'm like, "You don't." Well, actually, my reaction is, "You don't smell gas," but fine. I'm gonna get up and walk. So, I walk around the house and I don't smell gas, but I smell something smells weird. And I was like, "Hey, I agree with you that there's some weird smell." I was like, "I don't know what it is or where it's coming from, but like, yeah, something's going on." And like 45 minutes, an hour later, I get a text from my wife, and she goes, and the text says, "Everything's okay, but can you come to the bedroom right now?" And like, and so I was like, "Well, okay." So get up and go to the bedroom. And she had this, I don't know what it was, some sort of thing that was a heating pad, among other things, and it had
Mm,
must have been on for hours,
mm,
like for like 12 hours. And so the so take the sheet off. Like the sheet looks like it's been burned. The bottom sheet looks super toasty, and it's like and the smell is clearly coming from like whatever's happening there.
oh man.
We have a latex mattress, and so so I start like pulling stuff back to see like exactly what's going on. And I open it up and there's a crater in the mattress. So the mattress I think is like 8 inches, so the crater's like 6 inches.
Holy cow.
And it is smoldering and black. I'm like, you can imagine. So so then I throw open the window and I start tearing the mattress apart because I don't know if there's like an
Sure.
actual fire or not.
Right.
And like I'm tearing the mattress apart, which sounds more impressive than it is. Like it turns out it's easy to tear apart a latex mattress,
Yeah.
and throwing pieces out the
It's like
window.
when you say latex, this is like foam, right?
It's like a latex foam.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You know,
All right. So you're
it's some hippie
shredding it.
all
Gabe,
organic.
Gabe, I was hoping it was going to be the Michael Scott office where you set the timer on the George Foreman to start
Because I needed
frying
to
up
smell
the
the bacon.
bacon, and then you burnt your foot and couldn't come into work. So
No. Yeah. So
Man.
fast forward an hour, our mattress is in pieces out on the front lawn. Um, and like the problem, like turns out burnt melted latex doesn't smell great.
No, I
Uh,
can't imagine.
and it is tough to get that. So like in the scramble, like I'm
Oh,
dumping stuff. I'm taking everything that like all the clothes and whatever textiles, whatever, because the closets don't close quite right,
sure.
and so just so my office still has. I'm looking over. It's like a so this is like probably I don't know a month and a half ago at this point. I'm just lazy, but it's got I don't know probably a dozen shirts like just all thrown on top of a chair, some cardboard
Yeah.
boxes left over from whatever, and anyway, yeah,
God. So was that your mattress, like in your bedroom?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So what did we replace it with? You just
well,
had an
I'll
extra
tell you what.
$1,000 burn a hole in your
So
pocket?
I got two straw recommends,
a waterbed.
and I got a waterbed
Safer.
story which I'm not going to tell. We've got a nature pedic, I think it was called, and
Okay.
so we got it because so we have a king size bed. It comes in 6 pieces. So
Mm,
basically, and so you can get individual spring firmnesses and foam labor and stuff. So it's great because we can move it up and down the stairs really easily. Well, easily, but like you can
yeah.
move it up and down pieces as opposed to moving a giant king size mattress up and down the stairs.
Right.
And like I like it real firm, and so it can do that, and it's great. The other thing we got was a new frame. That's a big boy frame or whatever, a grown up frame. Um, and oh man, it's out of Australia. Can't remember what it's called now, but it's like the frame itself. I think weighs like 600 or 700 pounds.
Oh, wow.
So it's like this steel frame, and like it is awesome.
Hmm.
Like bed does not move at all. It yeah, it's amazing. If I remember next time, but it's so. I mean, obviously they have a U.S. kind of shipping point,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's an Aussie thing. But yeah, it is hundreds of pounds. That's another thing that I think they got shipped in 6 or 8 boxes, and so I had to
Wow.
drag and steel up the stairs. But that thing's not going anywhere. That's been great. I love them. Yeah. So
That's good. That's my least favorite purchase is mattresses. They're super expensive. You don't know if you're going to like it, and then you're stuck with it once you get it.
oh, what is the other thing? The Nature Beauty thing. They'll let you can sleep on it for 100 days and you can swap out
Really?
individual pieces, no
Will
cost.
they come pick it up, or does it cost me another couple 30 packs to get my
Uh,
friends to help me?
no, that's the thing because it's all each piece is not that big.
Yeah, that's true. That's
You can
true.
just throw it in a garbage can if you want to get rid of the other one. Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan,
Sorry,
is this what
Ryan.
you
You
came
didn't
to
know you
talk
were coming
about?
on for
Yeah.
furniture talk, but here we are.
So,
Love it.
Ryan, we can take this any direction you want. We can continue to talk about mattresses. I have some thoughts on fire extinguishers that's relevant here, or we can like cruise into what you told me was the big beautiful bill was the biggest gift to the farmer in the world, or something like that. You said.
I have joked that a crop insurance guy waits his whole career for a year like
Mm,
this, where the stars align and we get to be the delivery folks for positive messaging in the ag sector. Yeah, July 4th, big beautiful bill signed into law, and what it did for the ag sector is we don't have a farm bill. You know, they're still debating on doing a skinny farm bill, you know, trying to get something across the finish line. This budget plan, this big, beautiful bill actually built in what we would consider to be, you know, farm bill type items for crop insurance, for, you know, at the FSA office, your Ark County PLC decision making, those risk management programs have improved. And yeah, it's incredible what we're seeing this year for 2026. So
Awesome.
I've got a list of things that I could rattle down through. It's about 5 bullet points. You guys want to share screen and you guys can kind of see what we're seeing?
That sounds great. But first, I want to hear about you, Ryan. So I've known you for 20 years. Why should anybody listen to this podcast trust what you have to say here?
Man, just aggressive, Rodney.
Yeah. Friends with Rodney Connor.
Exactly.
If you hang with Rodney, obviously you're trustworthy and believable, right? Background is Grew up in Sandwich, school at JJC to Carbondale. Came out of Carbondale, spent 6-7 years, 8 years in the co-op, ag chem, seed, fertilizer industry, numerous internships, and then had a calling from the folks at First Farm Credit Services to hey, we want a guy to do crop insurance, and been up here for the last 20 years doing crop insurance. So that's kind of the 2-second version of Brian.
That's awesome. What years were you at JJC?
That's what I was going to ask.
So 95, 96, 96, 97, and then transferred down to Carbondale and did 2 years. I am not a school guy. I wanted in and out as quick as possible. I like being in the working sector and not in the but you know, college was fun and met a lot of good friends along the way.
Yeah, I miss you. I must be much younger than you.
I thought we've talked about this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be turning 50 this year. Okay. And you what are you, 29?
46. I just turned 46 last Monday.
I knew you were I knew you were a little younger. Younger and wiser. So
yeah.
Did you do the JJC? Did you do the JJC route or?
Yeah, I did JJC to Columbia. College, not university. There's a big difference in admission hurdles.
You and I have talked. You went on. You're a coding computer nerd, right?
Man, so one of my favorite things when I was working at Cargill, you know, everybody at Cargill at the time was like a you know, land grant university grad, right? Like from different states. And I take these customers into a Bulls game one time, just messing around. They were good customers. I worked with them forever. And actually, I'm working with them still today. And we were heading into the city, and the guy was like, "Oh, man, I just hate coming to Chicago or whatever." And I go, "I love, you know, going to the city." And he's like, "What? Why? Why would you know anything about the city?" I go, "Well, I went to school up here." And he looked at me like there was 3 of me, and he goes, "Where did you go to school for agriculture in Chicago?" And I go, "Man, I went to school to make video games." And there was like this terrifying moment where he's like, "Oh, I trust this guy way too much with what's going on in my thing." So anyway, short story there.
My original plan was
a coder that can talk logically and have a conversation with you. That's why everybody loves Rodney.
That's funny.
Smart and he can communicate. I can understand what you're saying, Rodney.
Man, I hope my wife listens to this podcast for sure. So 20 years of crop insurance, Ryan. Many changes to crop insurance over those 20 years. I mean, what kind of evolution you see?
I would not want to be. I'm glad I'm in the position that I am right now because we just had a guy that did 32 years in the crop insurance industry, and he just retired last spring, last April, and he and I both talked, and it's like, man, I wouldn't want to be a young person coming in with all the changes and you know, figuring out all the math and how it applies and all the rules and regulations that we've got. There have been changes. Insurance should be boring, uneventful, but yeah, no, there's been massive changes throughout the years that crop insurance has not been stagnant. They've been improving the programs, making additions. There lots of changes have happened over the 20-year period. I remember when I first started, this is just a quick example, biotech yield endorsement discount. It was like 2009, 2010. If you planted the BT corn, rootworm corn, and you had to bring your seed bag. We had to collect seed bag
Literal
tickets.
bags. Oh,
We had to write up
tickets.
They had to bring in a seed receipt that proved that they planted the biotech corn, BT corn. So it was a risk reduction. So if you had it on 80% of your acres, we filled out this additional form, and they got another $2 or $3 off, of their crop insurance premiums, which, yeah, for $2, and make Ryan do the work. So we're gonna come in and do all the paperwork, and happy to do it and get them the discount. So no, it's been crazy on all the things that have come in and changed over the years. So
yeah, so.
Well, I was gonna say my last touch with crop insurance in any real depth was Cargill was working with Farm Credit a while back, and man, so I can tell you what it looked like right then, but I know it's way different now. But even learning then, like all the nuances and everything, we had put in a program. I think it was with crop insurance and tied to your farm loan. I think is what it was. Some sort of wrap in there, and we weren't. And like the language we were allowed to use was like really like we couldn't say it was like a rebate, and I don't know. There were probably 8 other words we used to talk about
rebate.
It.
Yeah, rebating is a bad word in crop insurance. So
yeah. Well, I'm curious if it's still like a socialist offering where it's like it's pushed down from the government. Here's the pricing. Like this is the way it works, and you can't mess with the pricing at all. Or is it been more privatized at this point? That's one of the things I'll be keen to better understand. But that was one of the surprising things to me. It was my first, I'd say, in-depth engagement with like something like that, where it wasn't direct. It didn't feel like it was directly because somebody like you's bringing it to the door to the farmer, but it's actually ultimately backed by a federal government, offer. And so like that's really where it's all that drove the core structure of it. And so we were trying to play on the very margins of things, and there wasn't really a lot of differentiation. So like other than an agent themselves being able to come out, well, I will say, so when I talk to farmers, they talk a lot about the agent because you worry about who's going to give you your adjustment. That was the big differentiator. I would guess with the complexity and the evolution, there's probably more value than just being a guy that's given a better adjustment at this point. So I'm keen to learn about that evolution.
Yeah, no, our the crop insurance industry is government based. We work with 4 or 5 different, I'll call them AIPs, approved insurance providers, that they're the ones who actually hold the crop insurance. We're just sub agents for these providers, companies like Great American, Rain and Hail, NEU, Farmers Mutual, Agrisampo. There's about 16 or 17 of them. There's been folks that have come and gone. I can't remember, was Cargill an AIP at one point?
No,
they were not.
NAU.
Yeah, so Monsanto was in and out at one point, and John Deere was in and out at one point. And so you will see, you'll see companies come in. There's a new one that's being, I can't even comprehend, the build out, what it would take to, jump into the AIP level, and start, building agencies and doing that sort of thing. But No, it's government plus private sector, which I think makes it unique. It's not normal insurance. There's mandates that the loss ratios, farmer paid loss ratios should be like a 1-to-1, whereas in normal insurance loss ratios, obviously the company's got to make money. So we take grief all the time about, being an insurance agent or whatever, but I love being in the crop insurance world where I tell everybody it's not your normal insurance, what we get to do. Rodney, a mutual friend of ours, acquaintance of ours, he had a conversation. He's actually on the homes, auto, side of the insurance world. And he goes, man, I envy, you're actually rooting, meaning us on the crop insurance side. We're rooting for the farmer to, hey, if I can get you paid $1, I'm not going to leave $1 on the table. We're going to find it. Whereas on the private insurance side, the homes, autos, they're having conversations with their clients about, hey, are you sure you want to turn in this roof damage because your premiums are going to go up? Not necessarily the case in the crop insurance world. So, no, it's been good. I love what we do. Who we get to work with. We work with some top-notch farming operations, and they keep it entertaining and keep us hopping on our toes, trying to keep up with everything. So
yeah, like what is if you're meeting with somebody for the first time today, right? Like you're new prospect, you're knocking on the door. Like, what are you? I mean, probably not first time they've used crop insurance, but like, what are you talking to them about to kind of reorient them in the way that all right, we've got this big legislative change from the summer. We've got some big decisions to make. How are you opening that conversation? What
I'm finding out over 20 years, there's a big difference on how every agent out there delivers. There's some hands-off, hey, you're just going to renew the same coverage you had last year, for a multiple of reasons. Don't know. All I know is I'm in it every day living. I mean, it's 24/7. I have a hard time shutting off the crop insurance switch, and it's finding out. What I've learned is, there's a lot of underserved, producers out there from their existing agent because they're not getting any of the information. They're not getting any of the information on their own policies, let alone, all of the new fun, cool stuff that's coming out of this, new One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And Gabe, I gotta pause right here and tell you, I see your Star Wars stuff in the back, and tell me if you like this reference to the One Big Beautiful Bill. Farm Doc was calling it OB3. And I just thought it had a Star Wars reference, and so if you want,
does sound just like a cyborg or something. Yeah,
we can stop calling it the One Big Beautiful Bill, and we'll just call it OB3 from this point forward.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Why do they call it OB3, Ryan?
One Big Beautiful Bill.
Oh, they're okay. So they're trying to do the
acronym
BW3.
Yeah, BW
thing.
BW, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. All right. Great. I'm on board. It's a droid. You had me. Don't. So I guess I'm keen to hear what are one or two of the most notable things that you think are different from previous years, that you really want somebody to learn about this time around?
Yeah. So we're talking this year. What's coming for 2026? You want to jump into that?
Yeah.
Probably the biggest thing, and we're going to claim crop insurance gets to claim some of the FSA Farm Bill Ark County PLC decision making, because they've thrown us into the fire on, we get contacted from, hey, what program should we be signing up for at the FSA office, Ark County PLC? Rodney, you and I talked about this on a side conversation. It's kind of grain pricing based, futuristic. Hey, where's grain prices going to be? And I'm always looking for grain brain thinking on. But anyways, we claim some of that because out of the over the years, they've just been shoving folks our way to, hey, go talk to your crop insurance agent, and he or she will.
That's the FSA office is sending them your way.
FSA,
right.
Yeah, FSA.
So when you say you claim some of it, what you like? Do you get a cut of that? Do you write that stuff, or
no?
Like holding hands with the FSA office?
Well, yeah, no hand holding or anything like that.
Right, it's okay.
So out of some of the farm program ad hoc disaster programs that they've come up with, it ties directly back to crop insurance yields, guarantees, claims, that sort of thing. So I guess what I'm suggesting is one of the provisions out of the One Big Beautiful Bill, they came out and said, hey, for the 25 calculation, that guys will get a potentially payment this coming October. They went back in and they said they increased reference prices, that the guarantees for Ark County PLC got much better. And then the other big benefit is guys agonized on hey, should I take Ark County or PLC? A year ago at this time, they went back in and said, doesn't matter, we're going to pay you the higher of the two calculations no matter what. You've heard that one, right?
Yes. And when you say 2025, you're talking about the crop that's in the bin right now, right? Done.
Yes. Yeah. So we grew the 25 crop, and then Ark County and PLC starts a pricing mechanism starting September of 25, and it's a 12-month cash average, goes all the way until the end of August of 26. So it's stored grain cash price, national average. So it takes into account everybody across the nation, everybody's basis, and it's higher. It's weighted for bigger delivery months, and then they come up with this crazy market year average.
Yeah, the market year average is fun. We can talk about that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, hey, just so I understand from the grain perspective, so it sounds to me like the crop insurance. So this is, your bread and butter is kind of covers that farmer ahead of time, right? From February price discovery to October. And then traditionally I've always said, hey, October 31st, like your crop insurance coverage is over, right? That we talked about, gone.
Yep.
But what you're saying is this ARC or PLC covers from then through the next August, essentially, right? That whole crop marketing year while it's in the bin, or potentially in the bin. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
You're going into the FSA and you're selecting every year. You're making a decision. Do I want Ark County? Do I want PLC? Two different options. And yes, it has a market year average that starts September 1, August. It hasn't been meaningful or impactful in the last couple of years because the reference prices have been terrible, way behind. And out of this One Big Beautiful Bill, they brought in better reference prices kind of retroactively for the 25 crop year. And then looking at 26, they moved the Ark County calculation up to 90% trigger instead of 86. They moved the cap up to 12% instead of 10%. And then the other big benefit that they did is on the crop insurance world and the FSA world, we had a product called SCO, supplemental coverage option, that was a hang up. It conflicted with a guy taking Ark County. Okay. So out of the One Big Beautiful Bill, common sense prevails, and they got rid of the hang up. So a guy can make a decision at FSA free and clear of what he does at his crop insurance agent. and crop insurance agent can make a decision free and clear of whatever he's going to do down at the FSA office. Huge, huge. So no, and that's probably the conversation for you and I at a later date, because like this year, let's take Grundy County for example. Our county is coming to the table with Rodney's sitting in Grundy County, so let me just look at this real quick. $1,015 of revenue, no upside protection. So the crop insurance on our side, if the price goes higher in October, we're going to recalculate the revenue guarantee with the higher price. Okay, we love that. With the Ark County product at FSA, there is no upside price protection. So it's just you're in Grundy County, you're looking at $1,015 of revenue on corn, guaranteed, or the PLC flat price guarantee is $442. So will the market year average September 1 of 26 to end of August 27, will that fall under 442 cash at the elevator, 12-month average, or will the county yield times that market year average be under the $1,015 of revenue?
When do they have to decide on that?
So great question, Gabe. March 15th is typical sign up, but in 2026, they're going to allow 30 million new base acres into the farm program. FSA's already made the announcement that they're nowhere near set up to take all that in and be able to do sign up. So this could be a situation where we get the look back effect, where it's going to be maybe October, November, December, maybe even next January, where guys are having to sign up for the 26 ARC PLC decision. And
so do we know the pricing for that 2026 decision now? That, like, do you know, like, if I came to you and said, hey, I want to do the PLC program, do you know what price I'm paying for that?
There is no, the farm bill is you get this free.
You just choose one?
Yeah.
I get a free put.
Yeah, it's a weird put though, Gabe. I've been trying to figure out this put. And we should talk about this.
Well,
So
I went and I'm with you. I'm always looking at CBOT because our product on the crop insurance side, Rodney, you're right. February and October. Okay, what happens before February doesn't matter. I set the price in February. What happens after February to October doesn't matter. You could sell corn for $7. It comes to October, it's $4. I can still pay you a claim. It doesn't matter what you do individually on grain sales. It's February and October, and then after October, crop insurance guarantees are done and over with, and it's meaningless to my calculation on the crop insurance side. But so back to the put, you actually have to go out to a 2027 pricing to, and I looked at that, and I want to say it was like 5 cents or I mean it was dirt cheap to get a 442 put out to the end of August 2027.
2027. Right. So
yeah.
Okay, so I want to make sure I'm going to ask for my simple brain that we limit this part of the discussion rate to the PLC program. That's the 442 price lock-in, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how are they calculating the payout on the if you get paid versus 442? What pricing window are they looking at?
September 1st of 26 to end August 27. 12-month cash price average, weighted for delivery months, weighted for higher delivery months.
So that means
We haven't started
it
the
anchors to the fall.
mechanism hasn't started yet.
No,
Right,
it does not anchor to the fall.
It does not. Those aren't the higher delivery months?
No. Well, sorry. Yeah, it would be weighted towards the fall. But like today, they're figuring a January price into that into the market year average calculation, right?
Right, but the market year is
Yeah.
September to August.
Yeah. So right now we're calculating the 25 market year average.
Got it. Okay, but it's a market year average that is weighted by, I'm hearing you say, by delivery, which, okay. And so I would assume we're looking at like 60 to 70% of the crop gets delivered before Jan 1. Is that, I don't know. I don't remember.
That's reasonable. That marketing year average is kind of a black box, Ryan. Is there a place that I could go check that, like daily, weekly, monthly?
Yeah, there's a few. I can get you that information after this, but
Sure.
Kate State, Kansas State does a great job of. They've got some articles. Their ag department, you can follow it. Right now for the 25, it's running like 409, 409, 410, somewhere in there. On beans, I think it's running like 1030. 1020, something like that. So that's, like we talked before, we're thinking guys potentially could see some payments in October out of the 25 Ark County PLC calculation program.
Yeah,
which
October
would be
of next year.
This October. I'm flipping back and forth between the 25. The 25 calculation will pay out in October of 26, and then guys have to make a decision for the 26 Ark County PLC that won't pay out until October of 27.
Yeah.
So Gabe, go ahead.
I'm just scanning through K-State. I agree. This looks like the best place to look for it. The government shutdown affected collection of those prices, which is probably annoying. Their last, I can't find their last update, but yeah, I agree. I think it's in that 409 range. And also, Gabe, I agree that it's probably something like 60% of the crop before the end of the year, right? So it is weighted towards that, which is interesting.
But I mean, yeah, so Ryan, the reason I'm asking all these questions, right, is I'm just going to say how I'm hearing it, which is, I'm guaranteed a price of 442 against this market average, which is a weighted average calculated between September 26 through August 27. It's weighted by delivery. So basically, the first 3-4 months are probably going to lock in about half of that. And we're going to need some pretty big moves after that to drive it off of wherever it is. That just, from a math perspective, right? And so how does the payout work? So let's pretend we get to August and the average is, for simple math, 440. Okay, so there's a 2-cent dip there. What am I getting? Am I getting 2 cents or is it the 442? That's the price.
It's cents under times your PLC yield times the bushels that you have on your farm bill. So I ran a what is it a 220 APH or not APH a yield. You're looking at, or no, this would have been with a 204 PLC yield, a 420 price, market year average, you get about $45 an acre off a PLC.
Assuming average yields, you're saying like that's
well, the PLC is only if the price drops below 442. So at a 420, you would be below the 442. You'd get paid on the
on my yield. I get 22 cents on my yield.
Yeah.
Okay. So
let's talk yields just for a second.
Yeah. So these are not planted acres. Be clear, these are not planted acres. These are base acres that are on guys' farm numbers. So I've got an 80-acre farm. The farm number is 10,000. Farm number 10,000. It's an 80-acre field, and I go in there and I will see that I've got 40 acres of corn base and 40 acres of bean base acres. And then the corn has a 180 yield. They're old. They're way behind.
It's 20 years, right? Is it up to 20 years on our 50-50 rotation?
They're old and we did some analysis. Had a guy, couple of our insureds call up FSA and send those in. You were seeing 170 yields to 204 to the high side. So these aren't the 230, 240 APH.
Okay, so it's not what I'm yielding right now or my APH. Yeah. It's this. Okay.
Yeah. And you could plant all corn in 26, and if the calculation, it'll pay on the 40 acres of corn base, and you'll get a payment off of beans even though you didn't even plant any corn.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So, other than the ARC PLC choice, why would I not choose PLC? Why would I not enter that program?
Yeah. So at $1,015 of
revenue, I don't want to go down the ARC PLC decision. I'm saying let's just pretend I could either go into PLC or not. Why would I not go into that program if ARC wasn't a choice?
Oh yeah. You would automatically feed into it if ARC wasn't a choice.
Okay, so I'm not giving up anything else because I'm going to do it. All right.
Everybody gets it.
All right. So I'm gonna translate some of this into derivatives here, like because that's what this is. So for me, in my head, is it so you can obviously I don't have the models that I used to have. We would call this a forward start Asian put, is what it is. So I'm locking in.
Write that down, Ryan. Write that down.
Yeah, how do you spell
that? And it's
that?
complicated because of the weighted piece of it. And I'm not running at 100% on my derivative remembrance this morning, so I'm not sure how we would incorporate that, but it's definitely not a problem, right? We would figure out what we thought average yields were or average delivery timing was and do that. So there's no September options, which would be the August expiration listed currently. So you can't, the futures are there, but they haven't opened up the options yet. So I grabbed a DEES 440, which for now should get us close enough for what we're talking about. And so I've got that around, I wrote 24 cents. Probably to buy a DEES 440 put right now costs you about 24 cents.
So DEES of 27.
DEES of 27, yeah. That's right. And so that's a regular, just straight up 440 put in DEES. Now, I have done this long enough that I know that a regular Asian put, if we did this just a straight up, not a forward start or anything, it's going to be 2/3 the price of the regular one. So it won't cost me 24, it'll cost me 16. So that's where I start from. Now it gets goofy because I don't start having to count an average until September this year. So that's going to push the price back up a little bit, probably between 16 and 20. And this is the impact because it functions like a regular, because if the market goes down now, you kind of start and we go lower, it starts averaging down there already. So it behaves like a regular put until the average starts. Does that make sense? Yes, right.
Pause for 1 second. So let's stick to the 2025 crop, right? That's
now I gotta go back in time. Okay.
That's what's being calculated right now. So when Ryan talks about 442 and 409, that is old crop in the bin crop. That's already
when do they set that floor level then for the
That's right. That's the right question.
I misunderstood. When does that happen?
When do we get the 442 equivalent for next year's crop, Ryan?
When do we get ask that again?
Like when does the government come out and say, hey, your 2026 crop PLC price is X?
That is for 2026, they've made that announcement that guys are making decisions they increased the reference prices to 442 will be the PLC reference price for 26, and 1071 for beans.
Got it.
Those are locked in.
Misunderstood.
Those are locked in, and that's what guys are making decisions off of.
I feel like I need to call timeout here. I heard something better than Rodney did about crop insurance. I just want to make sure that's super clear.
Definitely nailed that one.
I was paying more attention to Ryan than you, is what I'm going to
say. So one more question, and then we'll go back at it. What is the 2025 PLC price?
442. So retroactively,
okay.
Out of the one big beautiful bill, they increased those and also made the announcement that you guys are gonna get paid the higher of the two pay calculations. So we agonized a year ago, the same conversation that we're having right now. What do we do? What we're trying to crystal ball this and speculate, and then they come out with this and say, doesn't matter. You're going to get the higher of the two calculations, which is cool.
Nice.
That's great for farmers. And Ryan, the path that I'm going down, I took notes and I was walking down this path trying to explain my thinking on how we get there. Fast forward to, I think that PLC at 442 today for 2026-27 crop, that thing right there is probably worth 10 to 15 cents a bushel.
Yep.
Like straight up for free. That's a crazy subsidy. It's great, but I'm just like that is, I will say that was one of the things that was surprising to me years ago when we did the work on crop insurance is I would say how I don't think the government knows how to, whoever's doing the actual math here, I assume there's people at the government that know how to do derivative calculations, but I don't think they know, they certainly don't put it through the budget at that level of cost or risk. But that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
And separate out, again, this is a conversation that is an FSA program. This isn't, yes, we're analyzing it, helping guys trying to figure out for risk management purposes, but this is FSA USDA, not, this doesn't tie into the crop insurance, side of things.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why anybody pays Rodney for anything now. I'm lost.
Yeah, me either. Yeah.
The only challenge I get into with this decision making though is I'm looking. We ran, the county, Grundy County did 235 to the high side and 202 to the low side. That's been the last 5 years of county averages according to USDA numbers. Okay. Now there's USDA county average yields, there's NASS average yields, and there's crop insurance county average. There's all these different numbers floating around out there, but I hate the idea of leaving money on the table to the tune of $50 where our county, you run a 220 county average and a 440 price. That 440 is only going to get you $4 out of the PLC calculation, and the Ark County's paying $54. So $50 left on the table, is a big deal on the guys that Rodney and I are talking to.
Yeah, no, I love that optimization work, right? It's like you're starting here and you're figuring out what are all the little things we can do to ratchet that up. I love it.
Yep.
That's so I guess for most guys on the ARC PLC side, I guess the ARC is just a straight up revenue number for those acres.
Yep.
Is that using the same base acre math?
Well, so what they do on the ARC side is the last 5 years of USDA county average yields. They do an Olympic average. Average.
By the way, crop insurance is where I learned about Olympic averages. Talking to farmers, they're dropping that on me. It's the Olympic average. And I'm like,
I would love, actually in our 10-year APHs, it would be beneficial if we could do Olympic average instead of the 10-year APH with the trend adjustment. But again, FSA is running the Olympic average where they're kicking out the high, the low, averaging the in between three. So the cool thing on Ark County we've got, the last 5 years, we've been at a 453 market year average in 2020. 2021 is $6, 654 in 22, 455 in 2023, and we were 424 in 2024. Okay, so we're getting to use a 453, a $6, and a 455 to come up with an Olympic average 503 price guarantee in that Arc County calculation. So
I mean,
that 503 is huge.
I like that. I've borrowed that Olympic average methodology. I just like it as it's a nice, straightforward way to try to take noise out of an average calculation, especially when you've got a small data set, right? Like a 5-year
Yep.
or a 10-year
Yep.
situation going on. Guys like the data science guys we've talked to, like Jake, would probably not love that, but it's it is I think it's a solid method. I like it. Anyway, but so okay. Sorry to take us down that path on the PLC piece. I just wanted
No,
to.
I like it's been a conversation we've been having with lots of guys, and like I said, I wanted to run past some grain experts just to see if there's any future thoughts on where the grain pricing industry is going. I mean, prices have hung in there. I mean, our volatility, we're going to talk about volatility on what we do on the crop insurance side. Our volatility right now is at an all-time low, which they do a calculation for crop insurance premiums. One thing, let me hit on this, and then I'll talk the volatility numbers. Out of the one big beautiful bill that I'm sure most folks have heard by now, is we increased the premium assistance. The government increased the premium assistance that they are paying in for guys to be able to use crop insurance as a risk management tool. Okay. So 80%, 75, 80, 85%, enterprise units, grouping all the farms together, or optional, keeping all the farms separate, up 3%. Okay. We move over to what they've come out with in the last 8 years is they're stacking a county policy on top of your individual. Those products, county-based, moved up all the way to 80% subsidized for the 2026 crop year. So all benefits out of the one big beautiful bill. Now, when you do a year-over-year comparison where APHs are the same, our Fed price is the same, everything's the same, you would typically see about a 9% reduction in like an 80% enterprise unit RP policy, which is kind of common for guys. And then the ECO, the enhanced coverage option that's at the top, triggers at 95%. We're seeing that down like 40, 43% year over year. Okay. Huge benefits. Now, I'm going to also bring in the volatility being lower. We're pricing guys, we're from now until March 15th, we're having conversations. We don't know what that volatility is going to be until the last 5 trading days of February. We don't know what the February price is going to be until the end of February. So we're having conversations. We're mindful of where it's trending, where it's at, but we're at historic low volatility, which if you stack that on top of increased subsidy levels, these premiums are just looking phenomenal. Huge. I mean, just really attractive to be able to actually grab more coverage for less dollars than what I spent last year.
Yeah. And when you talk about the ECO product, Ryan, is that a private product or that's also part of the regular crop insurance?
Yeah. So last year, 2 years ago, without sharing the screen and just kind of conceptually, kind of talking through this, ECO is the county has an expected yield. just like guys have an APH. Okay. Grundy County is expected to do 220 bushel. I get 95% of that. So it's not my 80 or 85. I get 95. And it's revenue based, same revenue calculation that your RP is, but it's on the county, and it's only it's the top 9% band. So they cap it at about $90, $95, $100. That stacks on top of your individual coverage, $850 of coverage that you have individually.
Got it. So there's no like double dipping in between. It's
nope.
Yeah. Right.
Nope. No. And here's the thing is, your neighborhood could have, a drought. I could pay you on the RP. The overall county, it exceeds its revenue guarantee, and ECO doesn't pay out anything. Yeah. The flip side of that, and where we use it on guys who are, phenomenal managers, they're applying everything to the crop, going for big yields. They're exceeding what their APH is. They still got the RP coverage as a base, for personal protection, but the ECO could pay out if the county is down and more variable than what they are as an individual. Clear as mud, right, Rodney?
Actually, I understand it way more than I did coming into this. It's just complicated, right? It's the complex thing about crop insurance for me is you have these like APHs, county average yield, just like so many versions of that.
So the big thing, the big thing why and where it messes with what you're doing. Okay, so Rodney and my crossover is, I'm sitting down with the guy and I want to know your intended acres. I want to know your share percentage. I've got the APH that I can go in there. I dial it down to, if a guy wants to know his quantifiable guaranteed bushels, I've got that. And Rodney and I have some mutual clients that, I've emailed over, that information to you, for you guys to have further the conversation. Absolutely take the guarantees that crop insurance provides to you and put it into a grain marketing plan. 100%. But not everybody thinks about it that way.
Yeah.
Not everybody's, not everybody's asking me on, hey, how many bushels do I have guaranteed under my crop insurance policy? No,
but it certainly helps my business, right, to be able to have that conversation with the farmer and say, look, man, not that we've said we like the price in the last year,
but to have that conversation about ECO doesn't help you because it doesn't guarantee individual bushels. But what I think the trade-off is at 95%, it's phenomenal price protection because they farm in that county. They produce crops in that county that all the conditions, they participate in the conditions, the weather patterns. So if they correlate with what the county's doing, and I get a product that triggers at 95%, you can look at it as enhanced coverage, and you get a little bit of price protection in addition to your RP, which is your foundation coverage.
So, Rodney, I guess bringing those two things together. So when I think about it, I guess I don't know where. I mean, so 2026 crop, is it like 470, give or take?
456.
456. Yep. 456 for 450. Okay.
He's 26.
Okay. So that's not. So it's actually that's kissing up against 442 effectively. That's interesting. Hey, so
that's a new development, by the way. We were 470.
Okay. Sorry, that's where my head was. Yeah.
Right.
So I guess if we pop back up 470, 480, $5, will you then have a conversation about putting on a 480, 440 put spread that has an early expiration so that way you're covered if the average does head lower? Or are you? I guess that's how I would look at monetizing that free put in terms of so you're not overpaying for price protection. Is that how you're wrapping it in, or are you doing something else?
Have not put much thought into it, Gabe. So that's why this conversation was really, really good. And that I pulled up that K-State chart, which we should link to that in the show notes here. But it shows the 5-year historical average that the um, marketing year average is using for the weighting. So I just did quick math. It's like 55% by January. So so in my head, I had been thinking about trying to like allocate this put option over the whole crop year. But to your point, I definitely don't need to do that. We're half done already on the old one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which cheapens
Well,
it up.
yeah, it cheapens it up a lot. And I would say, well, we can talk more later. I don't want to bore people with specifics like around things, but I think there are some specific things we could talk about in terms of how to lever that.
Yeah.
But I know that if your guys are using OTCs like directly, like you can shape some stuff to fit in nicely if you wanted to, and so you're not overpaying. You're not paying for any more time than you need or any more protection than you need.
Yeah. So just to go back though, Gabe, your initial thought, without getting into details, is I need to protect X. Like, what is your thought there?
Well, so I just learned I got a free put. Thank you, Ryan, and the FSA.
Hmm.
At 442. So like that's good news. And so if I want to lever that from a risk management perspective, other than just knowing that I have that, if the market climbs higher, I probably wouldn't bother at this point. But if the market climbed higher, I would buy a put closer to the market, and then I would actually sell a put at that around that 442 level, so that I'm
Bingo.
not overpaying. The tricky part, I think, comes in terms of timing and working that out,
Sure.
and so that I give Rodney a hard time, but I would say that would be a reason that I would want to have a conversation with Rodney as a farmer to work through like what's the actual structure here, because it can get, if you want to be precise about it and be very efficient about your use of capital to manage your risk, like it does take a little bit of work and probably worth talking to somebody about.
Yeah, and so where I think always where this crop insurance gets hard is when we talk about synthetic puts. Like you own this put that you don't actually own, right? So what I heard you just say, Gabe, which I think is right, is I've got this put bought. Let's go back to the 2025 crop, right?
Yeah.
Because I think this one's reasonable. I don't farm, by the way, so I don't own any of this stuff. But if I did, I currently own a 442
Two.
put, right? It's half expired, right? So like I own a 442 put on half my crop, essentially, right? If the market went higher, it would be reasonable for me to roll that put up to participate to better protect the rest of it, right?
Okay.
So what is rolling up this put is actually um selling like a 440 put and buying say a 470 put. We're making this up.
Mm-hmm.
But because you like synthetically own this other put through the PLC program, that's like rolling that up, right?
That'd be how you'd extract value from it and roll it
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. And protect
It,
yourself. Yeah.
yeah. And it's a little tricky
See,
because yeah.
that's what's fascinating to me and why I wanted to brainstorm this through with you guys, because I think we're going to have producers, when you look at the 26 calculation and you look at, hey, yield times a price scenario, you might have some pushback on, and there's no pushback because they can do whatever the heck they want to do. But, you know, I don't want to, when I look at the numbers and play the what if games, yield times price and Ark County triggering more dollars than what PLC is, you got to quantify it or show value out of what you're going to do for them on the put side or the PLC side would be
Yeah.
the conversation with them.
Well, and the other thing I'm thinking about here, since this is free, right? A free put.
Yeah.
The air quotes are important there. But I mean, if I had a crystal ball what the market was going to do, I would like to let time value expire before I do much with these put options, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gabe, am I thinking about that right?
Well, Uh, I don't know that I'm following, but I mean, well, if I knew what the market was going to do, I would just, you know,
Yeah, I get it. But like, so yeah, I'm just saying I already own the put for free for like 2026,
yeah,
right? So that has more value than this put that I own for free for 2025 because
yep,
there's time,
yep.
right? So if I'm going to buy something to protect against that,
Protect against
waiting,
what would this is where I'm losing you. Okay, so if I'm going to buy to protect against the time,
price deterioration,
okay,
right? Like,
yep,
yeah.
okay,
Um, it's going to be advantageous if I can wait to buy that, right? Because the essentially time value is ticking away. But again, yeah, see,
so
this is where we
so
argue all the time. Yeah.
yeah, so yes, right. As time goes by, the cost of protection will go down. Full stop.
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is that subsidy, that free put you have, is the most valuable today. It also goes down in value every day.
Correct.
So
Okay.
it's ultimately a question of what do you want to optimize for. I would also say the longer the time frame, the more advantageous it is to do a spread as opposed to, since that's what we're talking about, because you're while you're paying for the time up top, you're also getting paid for it on the bottom.
Yeah, that's right.
And so
Mm.
um, if that was the route I was going, I would say I would probably act sooner rather than later. But there is this other component of where we are currently. So like I said, for me, I think it's close enough to 442. I probably wouldn't bother doing anything today. But the
Yeah.
moment we popped up, like yeah, I do that. And to your point on rolling, like you can always keep rolling up the
Yeah.
caps
Just
that
keep
put.
going. Yeah.
Um, and like anything else, you're not going to, one, we're talking about base acres, which is probably going to be a subset of what you're actually expected, your ultimate yields you're looking at. And then you're probably not going to want to do all of it using that. But like, it may
Yeah.
be a really efficient way to lock in actual guaranteed revenue. Like, um, yeah, and knowing that you're going to cover whatever X% of cash needs.
Yeah. Ryan, let's talk caps. I always get nervous talking with government programs and marketing because it's like, hey, you can put the best program in place, but if you get capped out from the government payment, then you've gotten yourself in a bad position. So what kind of caps do we have here?
Uh, Gross premium caps.
If I'm a farmer and things go terrible and I get a payment from the government because the price fell down, what's the most payment I could get?
Well, I think they're capping um, the farm bridge payout that guys are going to get in February. I think that's like a 155,000. Is that what
Yep.
is that the
Well,
information you're looking for? Or
no, so that's separate from all this, right? So if I get the 155,000, I get the 155,000. I'm saying if I'm a 10 million acre farmer, right?
Mhm.
And corn goes to $3 and I'm in PLC and I'm getting a payment and that payment comes in at $10 million. Dollars.
Yeah, yeah. That I got to defer to the FSA,
Yeah,
USDA
I got
folks
it.
on
Yeah.
on
Okay.
how all that works.
Yep.
I'm my expertise is the crop insurance world, and I'm unlimited up to the amount of your liability.
So let's talk crop insurance then. We'll check on that. But on the crop insurance, is it no cap or there is
Well,
actually a
I
cap on
guess
the upside, right?
I guess where I was going with the correlation to the grain marketing side. Okay, so I quantify net acres, their APH, 80% coverage. I can come up with a crop insurance guaranteed bushel per acre, and then multiply it times net acres to get Rodney a number that he now starts building a grain plan off of. Okay,
Yep.
the two things on you know 235 bushel APH, 80% of that's like 188 bushel. Okay. I caution all of my guys that the couple things that will mess up a forward contracting your crop insurance guaranteed bushels before you produce them are basically three. Okay. Three things. Positive basis. We're board of trade. we don't play with basis. That's not factored into a crop insurance claim. So negative basis, positive basis, I'm board of trade February, I'm board of trade October. That's the world we live in. Prevent plant prior to 2019, we're saying, hey, you could theoretically sell up to your 188 bushel guaranteed bushels. You got to make sure that you get the acres planted. If the acres don't get planted, like we did in 2019, we had a massive prevent plant year. Prevent plant dollars come into play. The guaranteed bushels are now off the table on those farms. Okay.
Yeah.
So you sell, you sell 188 bushel to the acre on 1,000 acres, and you don't plant some of those, or you start mixing up your planting rotation. That could mess it up. The other thing, to your comment, Rodney, right now that let's say 450 is our Feb price, on our RP product, revenue protection, which is the primary program that most guys go with. We have a price cap of 200% to the upside. Okay, so if drought, 100 bushel corn, 50 bushel corn, and prices go to $10, 450 is going to cap out at $9. So I can protect a guy, in a negative basis situation. I can protect him if he gets all the acres planted, and I can protect him if the October price doesn't go plus 200%.
Yeah, makes total sense. That's always the things I'm looking for, because man, in 20 years, just every year you bump up against something that you didn't think would happen, right? Like if I'm out here telling a guy on March 15th, hey dude, you can go sell, 200,000 bushel right now. And then on March 15th or May 15th, he hasn't planted any of it. It's like, oh, actually we have a real problem, right? Or potentially have a real problem. Yeah. That's super helpful.
And we 2019 and 2020, when we were dealing with prevent plant acres, that was some exciting times on there in the crop insurance world. There's prevent plant eligibility reports. So you're eligible for prevent plant coverage up to the highest number of corn acres you planted in the last 4 years. You wouldn't think you would have to pay attention to that, but you're scrambling on. There's added land calculations that we were scrambling to make sure, hey, yeah, all this is going to work how we think it's going to work, because I don't want to have that oh crap moment, after it's too late to go out and actually plant a crop. I don't even want to think about 2019 and 2020 anymore. That I got PSD from, those were wild years, just trying to help guys maneuver through what was about to happen.
So I was a crop insurance agent for like 2 years, and at the Cargill time, and I realized I don't like crop insurance. It's like too tedious, too much like crossing the T's and dotting the I's type situation. But I'll tell you, the worst thing that happened to me, I was in a situation, this big prevent plant year. I don't even remember what year. This is like 09, probably, or 10, or somewhere in there. And I insured a brother, and his brother, who farmed 50-50 together, didn't take crop insurance, or took like some like very low. And it was like one of those prevent plant years. And I'm telling the one brother, because I'm his agent, hey, you like get these acres in. It doesn't matter if they don't come up, because the coverage is right. And his brother is like, no chance. I'm not planting this stuff. Like, we're not going to raise a crop. I would be wasting my money. And that's when I found out that on a 50-50 split, you're insuring like 50% of the plant in the field. Mm-hmm. You can't like carve off, acres.
Nope.
Those situations scare the crap out of me, man. Just scare the crap.
Well, there's so many liability dollars. You can't swag numbers. It's the crap in, crap out methodology, where you have to. pride myself on being anal, being exact. I like being exact because if anybody ever challenges you on the numbers, you can go back to this is how this is the math I used. I'm not swagging numbers, trying to be as exact as possible because you go 500 acres, 1,000 acres, 5,000 acres, there's massive liability on our policies and it can go bad real fast. If you don't know what you're doing or aren't, being exact on the business that you're writing.
Yeah, I can attest to Ryan's attention to detail, man. His crop insurance spreadsheets are a work of art. And I know they're your spreadsheets. They're not, coming from any crop insurance.
Well, my big thing, so Rodney, and I'm still learning your program, but it's the crop insurance guaranteed bushels, and I've got guys that farm in 2 or 3, 4 different counties. Okay, so we have policy for corn in LaSalle County, policy for corn in Grundy, policy for corn in Kendall. So I've got spreadsheets that quantify the Kendall bushels from the LaSalle bushels from the Grundy. So I send it over to Rodney, and Rodney, you're looking at it going, well, I've got like profit centers, or
Yeah.
I've got zones for delivery. And I've learned that, man, I thought I was doing really good on having the county breakout because that's the world we play in. And Rodney's, hey, I need these farms. I think about these farms separate, but they might be in the same county. So
yeah, that's exactly right. And then what's funny is the way it shows up to my customers on the other side is I'll say, hey, your crop insurance guarantee for this profit center is 212 bushel, or it always ends up being like 212.34, right? And then they look at this Ryan spreadsheet and they're like, no, man, LaSalle County is 218. And it's like, it's not really apples to apples. It's close. From an enterprise situation, we are at the same number, but we divide them up different.
Yeah. No, I couldn't. I love it. I like there is value to be gained if you want to look at those guaranteed bushels and put them to work. I'm not a grain marketer. I don't. You said you don't like doing crop insurance. I don't play in the grain marketing world, but it's the collection of data to can you somehow monetize that or make it valuable for yourself, and that's where I think Rodney and I overlap. So,
well, I think the big win here is working with people that overlap, right? Like it's not uncommon for Ryan to call me or for me to call Ryan and be like, hey man, I couldn't sleep last night. I was thinking about, how this affects grain marketing or vice versa. And at the very least, we've thought through a lot of issues and, potential opportunities here.
Yep.
Ryan, anything else you wanted to make sure farmers heard or the industry in general?
Well, I think I've touched on most of the list. Ark County, higher of the 2 for 25. Ark County or PLC, higher of the 2 payouts. That's a thumbs up. The decoupling of the SCO. I think SCO, and I don't want to confuse the issue. SCO always had the hang up with Ark County. They've done away with that. We feel when you're looking at kind of putting coverage in place this year, we think that the RP 75, 80, 85 with SCO and ECO now is going to be a very cost-effective way to manage risk. SCO wasn't a part of the conversation because of that hang up. They got rid of that under the OB3, Gabe. OB3 got rid of that. Our young beginning farmers, beginning farmer ranchers, out of this OB3, they increased the additional subsidies. Our young guys used to get 10% additional subsidies on top of the already really good subsidies. They expanded that to 10 years, and they start them off at 15% additional premium assistance now, and then taper them back until the last 5. They get the original 10%. That's huge. I've been quoting some of our younger guys, and it's like, is this right? It's incredible. It's incredible on the the benefits that they're getting just to kind of get them off the ground the first 10 years of getting to be a row cropper. Key yields, the yields that guys get to use if they're new to a county or beginning farming. Corn went up 16 bushels. So, Rodney, some of the APHs you're going to see come across this year may have went up. I'm updating guys' key yields and trend adjusted yields, and I'm seeing them, pop up 3, 4, 5 bushel, which all that helps the guarantees that guys are seeing. So those are the high level benefits that all came crashing into 2026. And at the same time, the government's still, thinking about making up, programs, ad hoc disaster programs that we may have to deal with, as the year progresses. So, yeah.
I was going to throw out, the one thing I learned when it was, I think Jen Kazin did most of the homework. I don't know if you remember Jen, Rodney, but she did all the figuring and then taught the rest of us. But like the one thing I took away from that was the most free money a farmer gets is crop insurance. And so we go have these risk management conversations. But the first question back then that I learned to ask was, do you have crop insurance? Because if you don't have crop insurance, we shouldn't even be talking yet. Like that should always be the first, that needs to basically not be a decision, because you are giving up so much free risk management capital there. And Ryan, I'm just hearing you tell me dollar after dollar getting added to the farmer. And so any farmer who doesn't start there is just literally throwing money away. Even though, even when they're writing a check for crop insurance, it is such a small portion of what they're actually getting. It's insane. And the other piece I'll just throw out there from a behavioral perspective is in these low vol environments, the market lulls people to sleep. And so you may be sitting there, not you guys, but somebody might sit there and go, well, there's not a lot going on. Right. So we're around that 440. I'm not so worried about whatever. The first lesson I learned about markets was the longer and quieter they are, the bigger the moves are once they start happening. And so because it lulls people to sleep. And then when things go, they go big because there's a lot of everything kind of collapses around whatever's happening with those low vol, and everybody wants to put money to work. And so as soon as something looks like it's happening, it escalates a lot faster than in a normal fall environment. So,
and I'm going to remind all the farmers and myself here that when you say stuff like that, high volatility does not mean up.
No.
I mean, that could happen. We could lull ourselves into $4 corn. That could equal $5 corn. That could equal $3 corn. That's what you're saying. Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
I always got to remind myself that, Gabe. Thanks to you. Ryan, if a guy wants to get a hold of you, wants to hear more about how you differentiate yourself from other crop insurance agents, what's the best way for them to do that?
I am an agent for Compeer Financial. I can give you my email. They can contact you guys. Email is Ryan, RYAN, .Leifheit, LEIFHEIT @compeer.com. Best way to get a hold of me. Happy to talk with anyone on their crop insurance risk management needs. So,
and plenty of 6 a.m. appointments available between now and
I'm looking at the clock, and I've got an 8 o'clock that's going to get here, and I'm going to get a knock on the door that my services are required. So
good deal. Well, hey man, I appreciate the time. I feel like I have a much better understanding of what's going on the crop insurance side. I'm sure we'll have you back at some point.
I just can't wait to hear more about Star Wars and how that impacts crop insurance.
Exactly,
that was my primary takeaway.
Star Wars and LED lightning bugs and anything
I'll follow
else.
up. So. I will follow up. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great day.